Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Okay, welcome to another series of VenTalk. I am Nicholas here, and always our venerable Jonathan.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Now, so for today, the series will be Road to Perfections. Okay, so what is Road to Perfections? Have you ever heard about this um, Dharma topic, which are the six parameters? Okay, because the six parameters is these traits are there to actually help us to become a better human being. So let us invite the Buddha to explain to you the introduction of the six parameters. Please enjoy.
菩萨六度无极，难改高行，是能够快速成佛的方法。那么是哪六度呢？一为布施，二为持戒，三为忍辱，四为精进，五为禅定，六为明度无极高行。
Right, there you go. That's the introduction of the six parameters.
All right, so the sixth perfection is actually for Bodhisattva to quickly attain Buddhahood. So, what is Buddhahood? Buddhahood is like a perfect form, eradicate all suffering, and we can attain complete happiness. So, this is the form that we want to achieve. So, this is why it's called the road to perfection.
Nice. Of course, nobody want to suffer, right? Everybody want to have the ultimate happiness. So, moving on to the content page today. Okay, so we'll be talking about the one of the parameters today, which is generosity. So, as you can see in the content page, we have here today is the definition and explanation of generosity, the types of generosity, the story of generosity, and of course, the summary.
Okay, Nick. So, when we talk about generosity, do you have the definition of generosity?
As of now, let me crack my brain. What I understand about generosity is about giving. Okay, giving in what kind of form is, of course, money. Giving money is sort of like a generosity, but I believe I'm quite ignorant myself, so I asked Mr. Google to find the definition. Here we go.
All right, let's show us the answer, Nick.
Yes. So for the definition of generosity is a willingness to give or support, to share of one's time and or resources, especially more than is usual or expected, without an expectation that the gift or act will be returned.
Okay, Nick. So that's not just for you. We have more things for you to do. Okay. So aside from definition, what is? Do you have any example?
Yes, I always prepare. So the example is actually Fashi here and his team, which is the Wisdom United Youth Leaders, who actually spend the time and effort to actually create classes for us, to learn the Dharma. And I'm very grateful for that because because the Dharma, knowing the Dharma, we become more wise, and it makes me happy to learn the Dharma. As each classes go, I meet new friends, I gain more wisdom, I become a better person.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, they use their time to volunteer. So this is a kind of generosity. And it's not just material and time that you can be generous with. You can give a smile to other people. So whenever you give a smile to other people, people will feel your positivity, and they will feel warm, and they'll feel that there's someone actually carrying them. So giving a smile is like it's free, and you can do it anytime, anywhere.
Yes, so whenever you meet your close friends or your relative, you gotta smile at them and say, hello, good evening, good afternoon, uncle, good afternoon, auntie, and something like that. Is one of the easiest way to practice generosity.
Okay, so if we talk about generosity, we have to talk about generosity paramitas, which is the perfection. So the intention is very important. So what kind of intention should we have? Is to give without expecting anything in return. And it's not about the amount of things that we give, but then our willingness to let go of things.
Yes, and of course, letting go of things is not easy. For example, if I were to give my laptop or my iPad here, I think it's very tough. So, yes, moving on, we actually have some examples of generosity parameters. So, let's take a look at these few points. So, examples of generosity parameters would be being wise and realistic in our giving. We definitely cannot give all, right? We have to save some for ourselves to have enough money to eat, so to survive throughout the day. The next one would be giving without pride. Yes, that is actually very hard also. And giving without expectation of return. Okay, this is not investment. No expectation of return, and actually being very happy to give. Okay, and the next point, not giving things obtained by the wrong livelihood. And lastly, giving good quality items.
Yes, so all of these examples is very important and it depends on our level of giving. So no, don't just like suddenly give everything and know when you go home you started regretting. So regretting is actually not a really nice thing. Lah. So we give based on our limits. Alright, so move on. What type of generosity are there?
Okay, so we have prepared for you 4 types of generosity. So let's go to the first point. Okay, the first type of generosity will be gift of materials. Okay, so what's the definition of it? I'll be very honored to share with you guys. The gift of materials is a form of giving any physical substance that can be made from raw materials that is beneficial to human needs. Beneficial. Okay, so what are the examples of it? Providing medicine for the sick, donating money to charity, and especially necessities. And of course, books that will help us to improve our well-beings. Okay, and of course, last but not least, healthcare products to improve our body to have a better quality of life.
Alright, so there are a few things that no we can give and we shouldn't give. So there are wrong items that we shouldn't give. So I think one of the wrong items should be like drugs and alcohol, something that will get addicted to it. So giving too much of a drugs or alcohol will actually make someone no addicted to it, which will be harmful for them. So what do you think about it, Nick?
I totally agree, because unless the drug is prescribed by a professional doctor to help your body to get rid of all those viruses from attacking your body, fair enough. But however, if those kind of addiction that makes your body deteriorate, okay, please leave from this substance. As we all know that generosity is to benefit people, not to harm people, to make their life even more and more miserable.
Okay, so for the next example, which is weapons. So I think in Singapore, there are not a lot of weapons, but then there are still objects that will harm other people, right? So what do you think about giving weapons to people?
Okay, unless you are a chef, unless you're a chef that need this kind of tools to cook for people, fair enough. But if weapons, as what we mentioned, that if harming people, that weapons that harms people, please do not give that, because that is not generosity. Generosity is to benefit people.
Okay, so let us move on to the gift of wisdom. So what is the gift of wisdom? Right, so the gift of wisdom is, there are two parts. One is about the Dharma part, the other one is more of the secular part. So for the Dharma part is the sublime teachings. So we give the sublime teachings without making any mistakes. And the secular part, which is the teaching the arts. So like worthy occupation, which are blameless and proper to learn. So there are things like cooking skills, IT materials or IT skills. So all of this now is very useful for the Dharma part, which is the upholding of fundamental precepts. Teaching Dharma classes as well as 10 virtuous deeds, to teach people what should do, what they shouldn't do. Okay, so do you have any like wrong wisdom, or like what kind of wrong wisdom we shouldn't give?
Okay, wrong wisdoms. Maybe one big point is killing. okay, we sharing of wisdom to kill will not benefit anyone because you are harming people. And of course, in Singapore, if you were to kill the same species like human to human, you know where you'll be lah. Okay, you definitely end up into jail or something that will definitely tie you down. And especially when a person doesn't have freedom, okay, that is a lot of sufferings.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, and I think teaching them how to steal is also not a really good thing, right? We shouldn't steal other people's things, you know.
Yes, I'm very guilty. When I was young, I actually steal it. But of course, when I grow older and become a more wiser human being, I'm wrong. So it's not good to steal because stealing also will not benefit anyone. And because our Singapore law, there's laws out there, so it's better not to fight against the law. You wouldn't want to do that.
All right. If that's the case, then you can do repentance.
Yes, indeed, doing repentance all day faster.
All right. So let's just move on to the next one, shall we?
Yes, so the next type of generosity is the gift of service. Okay, in other words, volunteer work. Okay, so the definition of gift or service is providing energy and time efficiently to solve problems in two forms, physically and mentally. So one good example is volunteering in organizations, for example, like me, volunteer for VenTalk to benefit with Fashi, of course, to benefit more sentient human beings or sentient beings. I also can say that, you know, to have the right concept of wisdom, you know, to do the right things at the right time.
Rejoice, Nick. So yeah, you have both the generosity, which is gift of wisdom, and gift of service, because no, we are spreading wisdom and spreading the teachings. All right. So for the gift of service, what are the wrong services that we shouldn't give? I think services that will harm or mislead people to do the wrong things. What do you think about scam calls?
Oh no, scam calls. Okay, that is definitely one of the that is definitely not a right service to even to begin with. And as you all know, there is so many news about scam calls stating that a lot of people, a lot of victims have lost hundred thousands of money, which is very unfortunate.
I think we still like receive a lot of scam calls nowadays, right? All right. So the other thing is like very common, which is the website.
Correct. Creating website actually needs to take some basic skills and knowledge to do it. Okay, creating websites to scam people. For example, an iPad costs about 1,000 plus, and for example, a person created this website and make the iPad cost $500. Okay, you go buy it, right? But in the end, the iPad never come to you. So this kind of skills is definitely used in the wrong way. Yes.
All right. Yes, yes. So especially for kids, you know, because kids nowadays they gone to the internet and search for a lot of things. So if they ended up in some kind of different website, you know, this will lead them to the wrong direction. And I think like services of like, you know, gambling website to cause people to have addiction, that is also not really good thing for us to do. Okay, so let us move on to the last point.
Yes, Fashi. What is the last point, Fashi?
So the last point is the gift of fearlessness. Sound interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the gift of fearlessness is to protect living beings meaning humans or animals or any human living beings, fear from humans or animals. So what do this mean? As in, like, if you are in school and your friends get bullied by other people and you save him, so that is the gift of fearlessness. And it's not just protecting your friend from human beings or protecting animals from human beings. We can protect them from non-human beings such as lion, tigers, and all of the fierce animals. And not just all of the fierce animals. If you are scared of cockroaches and your father come out and save you, so that is also a kind of gift of fearlessness, because you relieve from that fear of cockroaches. And the last thing, which is the fear of elements, water and fire. So if you can save someone from like a burning house or like when someone unfortunately dropped into the water, a lifeguard saved him. So that is also a gift of fearlessness.
Yes, gift of fearlessness is really a very important trait to, of course, especially to the road of perfection. So, Fa Shi, how about the examples of the good examples of gift of fearlessness?
So I think animal liberation, you can buy those animals that are about to get killed by someone in a restaurant and you set them free. And maybe we can don't buy too much of branded products, especially those skin. They use animal skin to make those branded products, as well as when you see someone that is going to kill an animal alive or going to cook the animal alive, then maybe you can buy the animal and set the animal free. So that is the kind of gift of fearlessness. So what kind of wrong fearlessness? Is there a kind of wrong fearlessness?
I think fearlessness can be right or wrong, but there's actually a debatable question that we actually found out. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of this term called YOLO, right? YOLO. So what does YOLO actually means? You only live once. So this YOLO is actually a motivation for us to do things that needs a lot of courage to do.
All right, right. So YOLO, wow. Peer pressure. I think peer pressure is like a huge part in a lot of people's life, right? So for example, like Nick, you wanted to do something. I said, Nick, just go for it. YOLO, YOLO, go for it. Man, you only live once. Why not just all out?
Yes. Okay, so we in the end we come up to a solution to this. Okay, for the right fearlessness, okay, because we are talking about generosity, right? If you YOLO that benefit people, for example, you really go all out and spend all your time and effort to earn money and donate to charity, that is definitely a straight cut good YOLO. But for YOLO, like killing animals, harming sentient beings, is a no go. It's definitely a no go.
So ultimately, just come down to the definition, right? The intention of you doing something is very important, right? We do things to benefit every sentient being. So it's just like Buddha. He do things to benefit every sentient being. So, but by the way, YOLO, do you really think that YOLO exists? Do you really think that you only live once?
As of now, where I am in Wisdom United, there is unlimited life, so YOLO doesn't apply to me anymore.
Yeah, so we have infinite life. All right, so shall we move on to the next part, which is a very interesting part?
Correct, Fa Shi, you are indeed right. We actually found this story, especially for you guys, because this story is really very motivating. Not many people in the society will do all these virtuous actions. So let's get into it.
Okay, so for this part, it will be in Chinese, so we will stop at each part and briefly explain what is going on in this video.
那时国泰民安，人民富足。数月过去了，也没有一个人来领取财宝。
既然不识财宝，没有人来领取，那只有买来药品，以为治疗众人的疾病了。
于是，仙太买了很多良药，救济众人的生命。慈心化育，苦行变质，恩泽无不周遍。积年累月的会师，以致德香远熏。仙太如此行善立事，用尽了自己的所有财产，于是打算亲自入海采宝。
Okay, so for this part, okay, as you can see, based on the story, he actually know about unlimited lifespan. So therefore, he donated all his asset to buy medicine for the people. Therefore, making the whole native being so happy and healthy. Now, moving on to the next one.
人结伴，一同入海采宝，收获颇丰。
请大家坚持住，我去试试能不能找到水源。
Okay, so he ventured out and they found a lot of treasures, but then at the end they met with two obstacles. So the first of these obstacles is the boat is unable to move forward, and the second obstacle they do not have water to drink. So Xian Tan he went and he go and find the water. All right, so let us continue.
见到眼前深深的水井，又想到一路收获的那些光芒四射、价值连城的珠宝，商人们一时起了贪欲之心，于是众商人一同把仙坛推入深井中。
So Xian Tan actually took more effort to actually find water for his peers. However, due to a short mind of greediness, he decided to sabotage Xian Tan.
仙坛平生为善，心怀菩萨仁德，因而感动天地神旨。天神伸手将他接住，令他无一毁伤。
Okay, so because he did a lot of virtuous deed in the past, so that the heavenly beings they will try to help him, so he still can continue to live. And there are still a lot more, so let us continue.
你们听好了，要想活命，就快将事情经过诚实交代，否则只有死路一条。
国王饶命！国王饶命！
So at this point, the king suspected their sabotage because Xian Tan shouldn't come back with empty hands. So therefore, the king actually jailed his peers for sabotaging, finding out the truth of sabotaging Xian Tan.
仙坛得知此事，为之哭泣，立刻来到国王面前叩头请罪。
仙探呐，这些商人违法犯政，他们是理当受罪的。
唉，愚痴的人起了颠倒邪见，不足以令明智者责罚。恳请您原谅他们的无知吧。
Okay, so after the king sent his friends to the jail, but then after Xian Tan knowing that this happens, he went to look for the king and asked the king to let them out. So imagine if you are in his position and they are trying to kill you, but then you have the heart to save them.
仙探要不是奉佛者，怎么会有这样的仁德之心呢？
是啊，是啊，他真是太了不起了。
请您收下，请您一定要收下呀！
真的不用
城邦仁德护佑，使我们的性命得以保全。希望您能全数接受，请不要再推辞了。
So in the end, the peers thanked him, and of course, after the peers give him back the assets, he actually donated all returned back to the king, and also donated the rest to the society, which is very captivating. Now, moving on is the summary. Okay, so for this summary, okay, what have we learned today? Okay, so the first, which are the 4 types of generosity, which is the gift of material. So in this summary, I will use the video that we just shared about. So the gift of material, he gave all his assets, to benefit all all the people living around him, all the native, just to get medicine for them to cure make their health, make sure they are doing well. And also, he also portrayed confidence that he's able to find treasures to return the king money, because he actually borrowed some of the medicines to buy medicine, borrowed money to buy medicine for his peers. And last but not least, he donated all the assets, okay, returned to the king, and the rest to the people that 3 of his peers has given to him around the end of the video.
Thank you. So can see that Xian Tan, his level of generosity parameter is very high. No, he has this capacity of giving everything, but then the more he gives, the happier he gets. So this is the level that hopefully one day we are able to do it. So next is the gift of wisdom. So what is the gift of wisdom? He taught everyone about kindness. So you can see he is a very kind man that he's willing to help anyone in front of him, and happiness comes from within. So he let us know that happiness is not more about external, but then it comes from within. And last but not least, stick with your value. So no matter what happens, even if people betray you, but then if your values is about helping other people and being kind to other people, you stick with your value and save your peers.
Awesome. Xian Tan is really a very good example for all of us. Moving up next, which is the gift of services. He uses his energy and time to distribute medicines with a spectacular attitude. While suffering, he even volunteered himself to find water for his peers. Everyone is so tired, everyone is so thirsty, but he still used his last bit of energy to find water for his whole group of men. And last but not least, he risked his life to get the treasures for everybody, to benefit more beings.
Yes, it's not an easy journey. And last, gift of fearlessness. All of us don't like to get sick. We are fear of illness. But then he cured people. He gave them this freedom of not falling sick. He set 3 of them free so that they don't have to be caged in the jail for the rest of their life. So these attitudes of being fearlessness motivate us to be like him. He do not fear about meeting with obstacles. When he met with some obstacle in their life, he tried his best to counter and react.
Yeah, so sometimes I always spend time watching this video to remind myself, to practice generosity over and over and over again. Okay, not to get our afflictions comes up and arises. And of course, if you realize, audiences who is watching this video, you are actually also practicing generosity, okay? What kind of generosity? Through the gift of services. You actually spend time to support us in watching VenTalk. Right, Fashi? Shall we rejoice to the audience?
Yes, rejoice. And thank you for coming here to join us. And remember to always smile to people so that they know that you care for them. Spread the positivity to people around you.
Alright, so that is all for generosity part 1. Till again, generosity part 2. We see you again. Good night, everybody.
Hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you.